So hi everybody, my name is Heather Rodriguez. I'm the founder of the Natural Fertility Company and naturalfertilityshop.com. So today's scope is going to be about the top questions that we have gotten about periods this week. We get a ton of questions about periods, so I thought I'd do a quick scope covering those questions and to see if you guys had any questions as well. Welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in. So one of the questions that we get a lot and that we've gotten a lot this week is, what does it mean when you have a light period? So what does that mean? It kind of depends. You know, it's not a black and white answer, but for some people, having a light period is actually normal and it's what their body does. What do I mean by light period? So that might be it's very, very light. It's very light pink, very pale, pale red color. So that is what's considered a light period. There could be a couple different causes. Your period is finally returned after 8 months. You've been taking black coach and vitamin. Yes, that's awesome. Congratulations. So when it comes to a light period, there's a couple different things. One could be lack of circulation. Another could be hormonal imbalances. There might not be enough hormones being produced. There might not be enough estrogen being produced. And then the other is there might be nutritional deficiencies. Again, for some people, a light period is actually normal. If it's something that's been happening for you since you started your cycle, you just might have a lighter cycle than others. If you're having a period that's less than 3 days, 4 days, and it's light the whole time, then I would definitely want to look at increasing circulation, helping to build up the blood. Dong Quai is a fabulous herb to look into to help build up the blood if you have light periods due to circulation. Also, eating a healthy fertility diet and increasing your protein is going to be good if you have a light, scanty period. So increasing circulation, massage, exercise, eating a nutrient-rich diet that's full of iron, so lots of leafy plants, and also one that is high in protein can possibly help with that. So for those of you with the light cycles. So the next question is, should I detox or fertility cleanse while I'm on my period? Someone just said they're starting their fertility cleanse, which is awesome. I know a couple of you have just finished, so I'd love to hear how your cleanses went. But when it comes to the period and fertility cleansing, we actually have the cleanse designed in such a way that you start it once your period ends. I know that this is not something that you probably have heard before with any other cleanse, and there's actually a reason for it. When you have your period, your body is cleansing itself. It's releasing the endometrial tissue, the uterine lining that it's built up for the month. I want that natural process to happen and stay intact. So we have the fertility cleanse start once you finish your period. So right after you finish your period, you start the cleanse. And when you start the cleanse, you actually jump into the liver phase, which helps to support the liver, help the liver to support normal detoxification within the body, and that's really great to do in preparation for your following menstrual cycle. So we start with the liver cleanse, and then you move into the uterine reproductive health cleanse portion of the cleanse, and that's increasing circulation, and that's helping to cleanse the uterus right before your cycle. So we want all of that circulation and all of those herbs and hormone balancing herbs to be in effect and kind of accumulating and ready for that following menstrual cycle. So that's why the cleanse is designed that way, if you were ever wondering. So no, we do not suggest to do the cleanse while you're on your period. It's not going to hurt you. It's just the way that the cycle is and the way that we design the cleanse to work at its optimum. You can order the cleanse at naturalfertilityshop.com. Someone was just asking. And then the other question was, are there any herbs that you shouldn't take while you're on your period? So that's a good question, because some herbs like the cleanse, you know, we've talked about you don't take during your period. Most herbs you can take all month long. You can take during your period. You can take while you're ovulating. You can take after ovulation for most fertility herbs. The case where you may not want to take herbs during your period is if you have a very heavy flow. So if you are what they call flooding and you have a very heavy flow, you're having to change your pad and things like that very often while you're on your period. I'm just getting so many text messages. Let me get those turned off. Then you have a heavy flow. You don't want to use an herb such as Dong Quai. You don't want to increase circulation. In the case of scanty flow, you want to increase circulation. In the case of too heavy a flow, you actually don't want to do that because it can cause more flooding. So you wouldn't want to use products such as Dong Quai that are going to increase circulation. In that case, there's actually something called Slow Flow. That's a fantastic herbal blend that helps to, it's more stringent, so it helps to slow down and cool down. If you have a heavy flow, it helps to cool the body. Someone was asking, are there any herbs you don't use during the 2-week wait? So during the 2-week wait, so when it comes to our programs and the herbs that we're using, they come with instructions on whether or not to use them during the 2-week wait. So if you're looking to get pregnant despite a fertility issue or overcome a fertility issue, help the body through it, a lot of times the herbs that you're going to be using are not herbs that we would suggest that you use while you are pregnant. So for instance, the fertility cleanse, we suggest strongly that you do not try to conceive the month that you're doing it, because the herbs in the fertility cleanse are not fertility herbs. They're herbs that are very cleansing and are helping the body for a specific purpose. So we say to wait till the next month. Of course, I know some of you still do it and that's your choice. But the reason is those are herbs that are quite strong and we wouldn't suggest them during pregnancy. So the same if you're using a kit to help with any major fertility issue and you're helping the body to make shifts, you're going to get results quicker if you just focus on your program and then you start preparing and trying to conceive after that. But I know reality is you want to be pregnant yesterday. So you're going to want to try to conceive while you're using the herbs. So the only herbs that I would suggest that you don't are herbs that are not fertility herbs, so things that are going to be quite strong. So I wouldn't necessarily use golden seal or, very strong things on a daily basis during the 2-week wait. The reality is when you are in the 2-week wait, the embryo has not even implanted yet. It's not sharing any blood with you. The placenta is not formed. All of these factors where the baby begins to survive off of you and what you're consuming and what you're putting into your body is not happening yet. And I think that's part of the amazing design of our bodies is there's this period of time when even once implantation has happened where the embryo, the child, the fetus is not getting anything from us just yet. It's still surviving off the yolk. So it's not going to get anything from things that you're taking. But I'm always super cautious and I'm always I'm very careful with herbs, especially in early pregnancy. So it's not ideal to use herbs in early pregnancy. Can mock and evening primrose be used simultaneously? Yes, they can. Those are fine together. So long answer to can you use herbs during the 2-week wait. There's something like evening primrose oil has been shown to possibly stimulate the uterus to contract. So that's something that we suggest that you don't use during the 2-week wait. Those herbs that are more stimulating to the uterus, I would not suggest. So you can get Done Quiet at naturalfertilityshop.com. It's a pretty popular herb. What about herbs to help produce cervical mucus while in clomid? I would just let your doctor know if you're wanting to use evening primrose oil, if you're wanting to use L-arginine, any of these things to increase cervical mucus. I would just talk with your doctor and let them know. But I don't see how that would actually interact. It's more herbs and herbal hormonal balancing herbs that we're concerned with fertility medications. Check with your doctor. Can I talk more about MH5? I can. Great. You can start Done Quiet anytime. Depends on the reason that you're using it, but generally you can start it anytime. So MH5, someone was asking about MH5. That is my formula for male fertility support. It's got, and I'll talk about estrogen in just a second, one of my favorite topics. It has herbs in it that help to support healthy testosterone production in men, healthy sperm, and increasing libido. So it's a blend that men can use all month long to help support normal, natural, healthy fertility for men. So I made it very easy to use for men because if you can get them to take one thing, that would be it. So I made it very simple and put everything into that one formula. Can candida overgrowth cause infertility? Not so much. I think candida overgrowth is, kind of a sign of something like there's something more underlying happening, and that is a side effect. I wouldn't ever really say that candida itself specifically is causing infertility. Someone's asking how to decrease estrogen. There's a lot of different ways. I've done many videos on this. If you want to watch full videos on YouTube about estrogen and how to reduce it. But to get started, you want to first actually remove the causes of excess estrogen in your life and in your system. So one of the best ways to do that is to eat more fiber. Another great way to do that is to reduce the amount, either the animal foods that you're eating, or change the source of animal foods. Make sure you're eating very clean sources. So you're eating free-range, organic, grass-fed, all those keywords for healthier animal products, because what happens is the pesticides are being concentrated within the animals because they're eating it off their feed, and then it's getting stored in their fat, and it's just compounding as they're growing, and then you're eating that directly. So that's one of the most concentrated forms. Also, reducing your plastic water bottle usage or any type of leachy plastic. Those also mimic estrogens in the body. So those are some ways to get started, but you can check out my full video. I go into great detail on the different things you can do, but those are the kind of the biggest impact steps that you can take right away. I missed a couple other questions. I'll stay on real quick. Can you have a period without ovulating? Yes, and you can ovulate without having a period, both. Yes, you can have a period without ovulating. A lot of people actually have periods without ovulating. So a period and ovulation, they're part of a cycle, but they're not always connected. Your period is the lining of your uterus that has been built up, is being shed by the body because you're not pregnant. And that is all hormonally induced. Ovulation is occurring within the ovaries. So your period, that's happening within the uterus. Ovulation is occurring within the ovaries, where a follicle is maturing and then it's ovulating, and that is hormonally driven as well, but they don't rely upon each other necessarily to happen. So you can have a monthly cycle and not be ovulating, and you can be ovulating and not be getting your period. So they don't trigger each other, but they're just all part of that orchestra of hormones. That makes sense. Are pains on the ovaries normal during ovulation? Depends how much pain it is. For some people, I know some of you that are on here experience this. When you ovulate, you feel crampy, or you feel like a little pinching on the side that you're going to ovulate. That can be normal for some people. They might experience more, and you might want to get that checked out. Do you have endometriosis? That can be a common experience for women experiencing endometriosis. Can I finish the fertility cleanse pack by starting again this month to finish it out? Yeah, so if you did the fertility cleanse and you have some products left over, you can start again and finish off the products. So you're stopped after the cleanse. Awesome, that's so great. What if all hormones and estrogen are normal but no baby? So Lady Fanita, so there's more going on then. So you've gotten hormone testing done, I'm assuming, by your question, but you still can't quite figure out what's going on. There's a couple different things. One is I have a really great guide on naturalfertilityinfo.com about unexplained infertility, and that's a good starting point of where to start and where to go. The second thing is, are you fertility charting? If you're fertility charting, are you ovulating? There's a lot of things you can tell from fertility charting, if you want to answer that. And then the third is, if you're doing those things and your charting is perfect or it's not revealing anything, I would definitely suggest a consultation for you so that we can look at your temperatures, your diet, your health history, all these different things to try to pinpoint where to start for you, because it's not always hormones. There's a lot of different factors, but also what kind of testing did you get done? Did you get your thyroid test done? Did you get your progesterone testing done? What part of your cycle did you get those tests done? So there's a lot of different questions to find out and to start where, so charting doesn't really change. From your charting, did you, are you ovulating? What day are you ovulating? How long is your luteal phase? So you see, like, there's a lot of different questions that we would need to ask so that, especially when it's, you might be considered unexplained, or you might not have an answer just yet. So no ovulation. So that's more the direction I would go in doing research, is since you're not ovulating, your hormones might be showing that everything's okay, but there might be nutritional deficiency. There might be other reasons that, are you guys still on? Because someone just tried to call me. I forgot to turn my phone off. There might be some other reasons for not ovulating. Nutritional deficiencies are actually very common for that. It's not just all hormones. Long answer again, sorry. I'm trying to get more concise. Okay, good. I'm still on. Can women with only one fallopian tube still get pregnant, or does she need fertility meds? So Haley, yes, actually, because every month your, so someone was just asking, can women get pregnant with only one fallopian tube? So every month, generally, your body is taking turns. So you'll ovulate on your right side, and then the next month you'll ovulate on your left side. And then Generally, it takes turns each side. So if you have one fallopian tube and it is functioning well and it's not blocked, then you definitely have a chance to get pregnant with that fallopian tube. But it's going to be kind of an every other month situation. Sometimes I have heard that the fallopian tube can reach around, it's pretty amazing, can reach around and actually catch the egg from the other side. I wouldn't necessarily count on that happening every single month, but I have heard that that is possible. So yes, that is possible. But you're going to have less opportunities, so it might take longer. And if there's any other fertility issues happening, that's also going to make it take longer. But if ovulation's on track, everything else is fine, and you just have one fallopian tube, then yeah, it's definitely still possible. Fertility medical treatments is an option, but not necessary if everything else is happening and functioning as it should. Does that make sense? Oh, that makes sense. Oh, please repost your questions. I missed all of them. If you want to copy and paste. Good. What are natural ways to increase testosterone in men? Should the most painful part of your period coincide with your heaviest bleeding? Oh, so you have very painful cycles. So there shouldn't be a most painful part of your cycle generally. What is the right age to go to a gynecologist? I would say as soon as you start getting your period, I would go to the gynecologist. I think for a lot of people, I know when I used to have very painful cramps that I would have more pain during the heaviest time, I think because the uterus is working and clamping down. But I would actually look at what can you do to help reduce that pain. What is the cause from it? Sometimes it's hormone related. Sometimes applying heat and increasing circulation can help. That would be kind of the direction that I would go. What is a healthy uterine lining? Yours was 5.79 millimeters day before ovulation. You know, I actually don't know it by millimeter because that's not how we look at it in natural health. We're not able to do an ultrasound and look at the uterine lining. How we would know is how long is your period, what color is your cycle, and what is your diet like. There's a lot of other factors that we would look at. Also charting, fertility charting, seeing how long your cycle is. Was there a long enough period of time for you to build up uterine lining? Because in natural therapies, we don't have ultrasound to look at that, to know how thick your lining is. We would just focus on the things that make a healthy lining and help support the body with that more so than being able to take those measurements. Your wife tested positive for LH Search Monday, wondering if that can be false ever for ovulation. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're involved with OPK testing with your wife. That's awesome. So with OPK testing, did you use a digital or are you using a strip that has the lines? And if you're using the strip that has the lines, are they the same color? Are they, okay, digital. Good. That makes it more of a no-brainer. So, good. Shoot, I forgot what your question was now. What was your question with the OPK? She got a positive. Sorry, what was your question? I'm all squirrely. Wondering if that can be false ever for us. Generally, no. So most likely not. It's generally yes, because what it's measuring for is LH surge. There's a specific hormone that is being released in the body that happens about 24 hours before ovulation is going to occur. That is all the test is saying is happening. So that's happening to trigger ovulation. It's generally a yes. There can be some other factors that make it so ovulation is not going to occur, but that's generally a go. So I would say yes. And without getting an ultrasound, you won't know for sure, and I wouldn't suggest going and getting an ultrasound just for that reason. But yes. What I would do is I would back that up, and you had sex the last 4 days. That up with if you don't get pregnant this cycle, which I so hope you do, that'd be awesome. I would back it up with fertility charting because then you can see for sure that she ovulated. OPK test will tell you about when, so you can get ready and you guys can get to it. But then when you do charting, it'll tell you that it did happen by that temperature drop. So I would use those two methods together just to make it more clear. Yes, I have a ton of charting info on my site. I have videos on how to do it. It's free to do, which is awesome, but it tells you so much information. So naturalfertilityinfo.com, you can go there and type in fertility charting. So glad to see partners on here. That's awesome. So someone was asking about milk thistle. They're taking, oh good, how did you like the massage video? So someone's asking about milk thistle. You're taking milk thistle during the cleanse. Oh, good. I'm glad that you liked it. Yay, good. I'm not coming to Ireland. Are you inviting me? Someone's asking when I'm coming to Ireland. Okay, milk thistle while on the cleanse and you're feeling sick, you're feeling nauseous. So this is something that can happen for some people when they are cleansing the liver. So when you cleanse the liver, you can sometimes feel nauseous, you can sometimes get headaches, you can be very moody. And the reason for this is because when you're cleansing the liver, it's stimulating the liver and there's a lot happening. There's a lot of toxins that are being cleansed, and for some reason that makes people feel sick. Some people won't feel anything on the cleanse like that, but some people will. So what I would suggest is drink more water and slow down a little bit. You can also try it with food. That'll slow the absorption of milk thistle, but it's quite common when you're supporting and cleansing the liver for some people. Yeah, you felt nauseous. Yep. Yeah, and it should go away in a couple days. Oh, please repost that question. How would you know if everything is working or not blocked? So the way to know if you have blocked fallopian tubes and you want to make sure that that tube is not blocked, you would have to go and get an HSG. And that is a procedure that is done by a doctor that they'll inject an ink compound into the uterus and it'll go out through the fallopian tubes and they can see if there's any blockages there. That is the best way to find out about that. It's a very common procedure. So if you ask your doctor about an HSG, they will know what you're talking about. Great. So someone's asking about increasing testosterone in men. So there's a couple, oh, good. So there's a couple different things with increasing testosterone for men. Sure, there's some herbs I could just spout out and say, use these herbs. But there's a couple factors, just like with the women, that I want you to take into consideration as being more important and the first step before wanting to increase testosterone in men. One is diet has to be dialed in. I say this before suggesting any herb because it's true. And it helps to provide the ingredients that are needed for healthy testosterone production. But a lot of issues with testosterone production actually have to do more with circulation. And someone was just posting about exercise and that being definitely beneficial. But if someone's eating a diet high in saturated fat, very processed, all these different things, it's actually going to make the circulation sluggish. And men really need healthy circulation in order to produce enough testosterone and have healthy sperm production. So that needs to be taken seriously and be considered, not just, okay, I'm going to now take these herbs and these pills without addressing diet. Drinking more water, eating a lot of plants, a lot of fiber is going to make a huge difference. Eating healthy fats and not eating trans fats, saturated fats, those types of things are going to be game changers for that. So that has to be step one. Then you can begin looking at herbs and nutrients. So I have a lot of different information on the website on different things you can use. Do some research on maca, do some research on tribulus, do some research on L-arginine, L-carnitine. Those are all things that help to support sperm health more specifically than testosterone production. But tribulus is great for helping with that. And there's new research I'm learning from another herbalist that works only with men. And he's been using Vitex to help support testosterone production in men, which I thought that was really, really cool. So that's something to do some more research into as well. Oh, you want me to talk about taurine? Oh, that could be a good topic. What was it? There was another, I just missed it. Okay. How soon should my period return after a miscarriage and a D&C? So that's going to be different for everybody. Some people get their cycle back, the next cycle after miscarriage. And I'm so sorry. First of all, I'm so sorry to hear about your miscarriage. So some people get it back the next cycle. Some it's going to take a couple of months to come back because the hormones are so out of whack. I've worked with people, their cycle's right on, and I've worked with others where it's actually going to take a couple of months for everything to settle down and to start back up again. Especially with a D&C too, I have found since they go in and they, they go through and they scrape everything, it can take some time. So I don't know how long it's been for you, Tina, if you want to tell me, but it could take a couple of cycles before it's back and also before it's back to normal. Some will have a very light cycle, it'll be short, some will have heavier. It's different for everybody. So just know that, give yourself a couple months, and that is actually perfectly normal for it to take that long. All right, I'll take one last question before I have to go. But thank you guys so much. So it's been 2 weeks. Yeah, so it might take some time, Tina. It might take 30 days because you have to think, you just had the D&C, you had the miscarriage, but your hormones have to come back from being pregnant hormone levels, they have to come back down and readjust to building your cycle back up again. So it does take some time for that. And I'm so sorry, honey. Herbs for fibroid shrinkage or removal. So whole big topic about that. I've talked, I do have some videos on YouTube more in depth about that specifically. But there's a lot to that. There's a lot of lifestyle shifts that have to happen with fibroids. So if someone's had fibroid removal from surgery, you still want to begin making lifestyle changes to not have them grow back again. That's what we find as people contact us. I've had fibroid removal and they're growing back again. What do I do? So you can't just have fibroid removal and not make the lifestyle changes. You will want to do the lifestyle changes that that reduce excess estrogen from your life, from your system, from your diet. That's one of the biggest things. Anytime there's anything growing in the body, oh, okay, you haven't had them removed. Anytime there's anything growing in the body, you want to reduce estrogen. You want to do things to help the body to get rid of excess estrogen, and you want to remove yourself from things that are causing excess estrogen or estrogen mimicking compounds to enter your body. So when it comes to things like fibroids, endometriosis, where things are growing, that is an estrogen excess, situation, because estrogen causes things to grow. It causes uterine lining to grow, but it also causes these other things. So that's going to be one of the main focuses. I have found that reducing red meat, making sure that your animal products are organic if you're eating them, but eating as plant-based as possible makes the quickest change, and can make a big impact when it comes to those things. So I would look at that. I have a whole guide on fibroids and how to help the body through that, help the body to reduce that if possible. Sometimes fibroids are so large that surgery is actually the best call of action, to have them removed and then make those lifestyle changes so they do not come back. Can DIM increase low estrogen? Generally not. DIM doesn't necessarily have an impact on estrogen levels in production. It has an impact on estrogen, circulating estrogen within the body. So it's not going to actually produce estrogen or cause the body to produce it, but it's going to help metabolize what excess may be in the system. If that makes sense. Lifestyle changes are needed for endometriosis. So definitely a couple of different things. That's a big answer. Should I continue my castor oil pack? Yes, Tina, you can. Yeah, I would. I think that's a great thing to be doing right now. Oh, you've missed me. It's almost been 6 weeks after your topic in May. Oh, how are you doing? How are you doing? Okay, guys. All right, I'm going to have to get going. But thank you all for joining me today. It was great to see you. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And I should be on again at least once or twice this week. So getting caught up. I just got back from San Diego. I was at a conference. So getting plugged back into everything and connecting with everyone. I had all my meetings today. So I'm back. I should be settled for a little while and connecting with you guys much more. Thank you so much for your time. After miscarriage, your company feels like a good godsend. Oh, that's awesome. I'll let them know that you said that. That's so great. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for all you guys are awesome. Yay. And whoever's starting their cleanse, let us know if you need any support through it. Don't hesitate to contact us with any questions. The person who was feeling nauseous from milk thistle, if you need further support, just contact us. Our staff is amazing. We help people through their cleanses all day long. So we know how to kind of help pivot any of those things that you might be experiencing. All right, guys, well, have a great one. I will talk to you again very soon.